I was watching a certain news network the other day, and the guest said something. They were talking about the economic impact of the coronavirus. And the guest said something that may not be immediately obvious to the average person. So she said there's going to be some winners and losers. During this pandemic, you're seeing some of the issues around the digital economy persist. So if you have a presence online, then maybe you will get better sales. If you don't, then you're going to be behind the eight ball for sure. And the digital economy is going to accelerate as a result of this shutdown. So things like Amazon, Zoom, telehealth, education, and plenty of other things, we may very well come out of this and say, well, we really want to continue to doing things like that. And the ultimate point that she was making is that what's happening economically is not just 100% based on the pandemic. It's really just accelerating, or it's exacerbating what was already an issue around the digital economy, which is there are businesses out there who have a strong online presence, and there are businesses who don't. And I can just look at my local area around here. I live in a pretty rural area in the Ozarks in Missouri, and we're probably a good 5 to 10 years behind everybody else in terms of the digital economy. There are people here who still don't accept credit cards and are still having the debate about whether having the ability to accept credit cards in their in-person stores is a good thing. Now, if you've been around business and online business for any amount of time, you know that was a debate that was had probably 10, 15 years ago everywhere else. They're still doing that here. So there's a lot of businesses around here who have zero online presence. And it's pretty consistent when I look around. The businesses that have even just the smallest online presence, a restaurant that has a menu online as just a basic thing, those businesses tend to still be open, to still accepting customers and are getting by during all of this. Whereas the ones who don't, those are the ones where the doors are shut, they're closed indefinitely, you call and the phone just rings and rings, and those are the ones that are struggling through this. So it's not just because of the pandemic. There were already problems that existed. They were already losing customers because of a lack of an online presence. And now it's really right in their face because everybody's stuck at home. And the only way for you, the way primarily that people are finding out who's open and who's not and so forth is through the internet. So if you don't have an online presence, you're really struggling right now. The exact same thing is true for freelancers. There's a lot of freelancers out there, and maybe you're one of these people who rely on going to business meetings and local meetup groups, who rely on word of mouth, who rely on create relationships that they create in person and so forth, and don't really have a strong online presence. Or they're relying on freelance networks, and maybe those networks have dried up at this point, and they don't have the flexibility to go out and get customers, or they don't have that influx of new clients coming in. And so again, you're struggling with that right now. The big point that I want to make from all of this, the big lesson from all of this, is to understand a lot of people have convinced themselves that when this is over, everything is just going to go back to how it was. And it's not. As that guest mentioned, this is just accelerating what was already there. The things that I've been talking about for a long time about how you need to get your online presence in order. You need to start getting customers that way, start creating content. All of those things are going to become more and more important as we come out of this, because the way that they sort of interact with the world is changing. People that maybe never used Google or never used any of those search tools to try and find things, now they're using them, and going forward, they're going to be like, oh, I'm just going to do this. This is way easier and so forth. So it's really transitioned a lot of people more to the digital economy than before, and that's going to persist as we come through this. I gave the example in the last episode where I talked about my own business is actually doing better. I'm actually getting more watch time on my classes and so forth as a result of this. One of the reasons why is because what a lot of people are doing now, because they're stuck at home, is they're using search to go out and find things to do, find things to learn, etc. And because I have so much content out there, I show up in those search results, and as a result of that, is bringing me more customers, more watch time, etc. So it's the fact that I have that content out there for people to find is why my business has gotten better. So it's not luck or chance or anything like that. It's something that I've methodically built for a number of years. So again, overall, the big point is that this is going to persist past the pandemic. So if you're struggling right now and you think that, oh, things are just going to go back to normal when it's over, maybe a little bit, but probably never quite like it was, and it's going to accelerate everything that was happening before. All of this is a major threat and a major opportunity. So if you're freelancing now, it's the perfect time for you to dig in and solidify your business, fine-tune processes, expand your online presence, eliminate needless overhead, etc. This is a really good time for you to find all the little inefficiencies, all the things that you could be doing but aren't, for you to really look at your online presence and try to grow and expand that, especially if maybe you don't have as many clients that you're working with right now, so you have a little bit more time. Now's a good time to do all of that. I remember I used to work for the Pella window and door company, and I was working there right kind of as the collapse of 2008 happened. And they talked about, the company had a total plan of how they could reduce hours on the line based on production, to where employees were going from working 40 plus hours a week all the way down to 20. So they had an entire plan in place. And I remember our CEO giving a talk where he talked about how, these sorts of downturns and recessions aren't fun, and they're things that we don't like. However, they also represent a great opportunity, because now we're more aware of all of the little inefficiencies. We're more likely to look at those things, and it's an opportunity to come out of it stronger, because we've in having to tighten down, we really put a lot of things under scrutiny that we might not when things are going well. So this is a really good time for you, if you're freelancing right now, to do that, so that when we come out of this, your online presence is stronger, the way you deliver for clients is stronger. All of the things that you do in order to run your business are better, more efficient, stronger. That way you can make more as you come out of this. If you're not yet freelancing, this is a perfect time for you to start. I was talking to my little brother about this the other day, because he works for a company and he's been kind of thinking about going freelance. And I told him, for almost any job that you do, like his job that he's working right now, you could probably go to the company and tell them that you want to freelance and make more as a freelancer and as a contractor than you did working for them as a company. And he's kind of done the math on his, and basically he would about double what he makes as an employee if he were to go freelance. Yes, there's less security and no benefits, and there's downsides, but in terms of just pure income, he could probably double what he makes. And right now, companies will never be more willing to consider that kind of thing compared to any other time, because of what's going on. They're trying to figure out ways to tighten down and save money and so forth, not having to pay for your benefits, not having to pay all of your employee taxes and so forth, not having to pay for all of your supplies and this, that, and the other. That's a really, really strong pitch right now to those companies. So I imagine that you could probably go to the company you work for right now and ask them to hire you as an independent contractor or freelancer, and I bet they would seriously consider it. And that can be the easy first step for you to get into freelancing. And now once you're doing it for the company you've already worked for, probably making more, now you can start to look to take on other clients, and that's where you get your security from. You get your security from having multiple clients. So if one has a problem, or they don't like you anymore, or you don't want to work with them anymore, you can get rid of them, and you still have other clients, and you still are getting some income while you look to replace the client you just lost. So it's a really good time to do that, because companies are willing to consider those kinds of things right now. And there's a lot of companies out there that are struggling. And if you're someone, say you're a web developer, you can go to a local business and you can say, hey, you don't have an online presence. You're struggling right now. If you had an online presence, you might be able to start getting some customers and so forth. They're already thinking that. They're already seeing it. They're already feeling it. You don't have to give them much of a pitch, unless you find the real stubborn ones. But in that case, just move on. But you really don't have to give them much of a pitch in order for them to want to start to build that online presence, and you can be the one that does that for them. So it's a real, it's a threat for sure, but it's a real opportunity as well if you do the right things. So that's really what I want to convey to you from this episode. Is the worst thing that you can do right now is just sit at home and do nothing, or sort of lament the fact that all this is going on and so forth. There are things that you can be doing right now to make your business, to make your situation, yourself stronger coming out of this, so that as we come out, you not only survive and make it through, but you actually start doing better and making more as a result of all of this. So in any case, it's for you to figure out all of this for your own situation. But I've created a bunch of classes that can help you do all of this. They're all available for nothing over on Skillshare, which is a really big deal right now. You can go there, get 2 months for absolutely free. So you're not having to pay anything, yet you can still learn all of this stuff. So here's a list of the freelance related courses I offer over there. The Beginner's Guide to Freelance, Freelancing on Upwork, Turn Content into Clients. Those of you who don't have an online presence, that would really be the one that I would focus in on. It's going to show you how to build that online presence, create that content, so when people are doing those searches, you show up and you're able to kind of get that trickle-down effect of clients as a result of the content you're creating. I have my Freelancing 101 series, which has what services to offer and social media marketing for freelancers. And social media marketing for freelancers is another one that you could really dig into right now, because a lot of people are on their social media. They have nothing else to do. So that's a place that you can really expand right now. And then I have my Let's Talk Freelance course and Why Entrepreneurs Fail. So again, every one of them is available on Skillshare. They're available for you access at zero cost right now. And I dare say by the time you get through all of them, you'll know more about freelancing than most freelancers will ever learn. And more importantly, you're going to have a kind of roadmap to build your pandemic-proof, your apocalypse-proof, your recession-proof business. And again, not only survive those things, but come out stronger, to start to reorient your thinking and see this as an opportunity, not just as this thing that's this huge threat that there's nothing you can do about. There are plenty of things that you can be doing right now, and that's what I want to show you how to do. Anyway, if you to learn more about all that, how to get the free access and so forth, just go to johnmorrisonline.com/Skillshare. That has all the details on what's included, how to get access, all of that. So again, it's johnmorrisonline.com/Skillshare. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.